Jeffrey doesn't believe that working hard will get him to success, and so he keeps spraying away his potential in his dirty room all night long. Adonis realized the truth when he was younger. He saw that some men stopped working as hard when they became successful so that they could enjoy their toys. But other men, the disciplined men, they stayed in the trenches. And then there's you. Let me tell you my story. A few months ago, I'm in the cafe, like the restaurant of my gym with my friend Scott. And we're sat down having a catch up because it's been a little while. And I noticed that he had something interesting as his phone lock screen. It was a bunch of quotes, affirmations, and sentences that he had wrote himself. And I asked him to show me. And some of them were super, super nice. You know, they were like, I'll retire my mother and I'm going to buy her a bungalow. I'm going to work super, super hard. I'm this kind of man. I'm this. But one of them I found so interesting. One of them was something like, I'm going to make a lot of money and then I'm going to move to Bali and then I'll be able to relax. Something along those lines. And when I saw that goal and I looked him in the eyes, I said, that's not right. That's not true. You won't like that. And he really listened to me seriously, and I told him, I think that some men are supposed to stay in the trenches. You see, some men are just built this way where their best life will not come from retiring and enjoying the toys or whatever they can buy with their success, but rather continually working even when they don't need to, even when they don't need more money, because that's what gives them life. Some guys are just that masculine where for them it's not about the material success, about relaxing after hard work, but rather just constant push for their mission. And I made my friend Scott visualize this, and I want you to do it as well to figure out what kind of guy you are. Imagine this literally was like World War III or World War II, like in the trenches, genuine trenches. Some, like the guy next to you has genuinely got trench foot, like his foot looks deformed. Like you've seen some of your friends get hurt. And every guy here keeps talking in this narrative of, when the war's over, I'm going to go home to my girlfriend. I can't wait to go home. I can't wait to go home. What are you going to do when you get home? And you listen to that narrative and you start to believe it too. And you don't really want to admit to anyone else that even though there's so much chaos and even bloodshed, you actually feel alive here in this trench, here in this hard work mode. And when the war does finally end, and everyone's celebrating to go home, you actually feel a sense of sadness that we're all going to split up and I'm not going to be next to like my brothers anymore and I don't have this mission to work on. And then, when you do go home and you're depressed and you've got PTSD, you become a statistic. Some men were supposed to stay in the trenches. What I mean by that is that some guys, for them, they are supposed to be in this like work mode for all their lives, and there's nothing wrong with that. These days, society really like is against guys talking about hard work, and I used to be like this. If you go back to about 2021, I was part of that weak group who used to say things that like hustle culture is a bad thing, that working hard is kind of cringe, and you know, I just want to play and stuff. And the thing is, yeah, 100%, you never want to sacrifice your health. You don't want to sacrifice relationships. You want to be there for your family, sure. But working hard, like really hard, has given me more life and joy than anything else I've ever discovered in the world, including hard drugs. By the way, bro, you probably haven't realized just how bad listening to degenerate music is every day. And so that's why I've made a new daily Spotify podcast that you can listen to so you can start your day off with some inspiration, and it's specifically for young guys who want to get onto self-improvement. Go click the top link in the description, load that up, follow the podcast, and then continue watching this video. When you find the right thing, when you find that mission, that purpose, which means everything to you, it becomes so important for you to like really maximize your work there and to give it your all, and all of your life starts to align to it. These days people don't like talking about this. These days it's so cool to say like, oh, I barely work, I work only a few hours a week. It's so like kind of so wholesome to say that. And so masculine men aren't really finding their place in this modern world where people are rewarding like that kind of guy, and people are all demonizing the kind of guy who just wants to work hard all day at his goals. This doesn't mean, again, that you're like staying up late and you're missing your sleep and you're not exercising, but rather like you're in this productive, hard, like almost monk mode period for basically all your life. Now, you can take time off and go spend time with friends, and you can go and see family, and you can eat some junk food, sure. But the idea that I want you to get is that you probably won't enjoy retirement. If you're thinking that you're going to work hard right now so that you can relax later, I think you probably have the wrong idea of who you actually are. Because if you're watching videos like this, let's be honest, you're not normal. You're not. If you're watching videos like this, you'll be the kind of guy who, when you do retire, you will pass away shortly after that. Some men are supposed to live in the trenches. Write that down and stick it up on your wall so that when you get these dreams of like, yeah, you know, I'm only working hard right now so I can do something else later, you can remind yourself, wait, no, I'll actually always, even when I'm 70, 80 years old, I'll always want to have like this hard work day where I feel like I'm important. So ask yourself this question right now. What do you plan to do when you get successful? You're working really hard on your business, your career, your studies. When you start making more money than you can ever spend, what are you going to do then? Just lie back and do what exactly with your day? What's your daily routine going to look like? This is the sad things that I've learned about men. Many men are working hard on something that they don't like today because they think their life is going to change in the future. They're working a shitty career that they dislike, but they think to themselves, when I retire, things will be better. Guys in university right now hate studying, don't want to be there, don't even want the job that relates to their degree, but they think, okay, if I just study hard for a few years and I get good grades, then my life will be different afterwards. Guys who are working hard on some kind of business that they don't really enjoy, and they're thinking, okay, as soon as this makes a lot of money, then I can really go and do the thing that I want to do. This is false thinking, and it's a misunderstanding of masculinity. This might be weird for you to understand. Nothing changes. Stop hoping for a completion or a change of anything in life. Don't think to yourself that if I work hard on this thing, then my life will be different so that I can do the thing that I really want to do. Stop that, because men are wasting their lives doing this. Your father's wasted his life doing this. Your grandfather did, and everyone did. What's more important is you do that thing that you feel called to do right now. That is your gift. That is like your purpose as a man. The way to figure this out, that thing that you should be really working on right now instead of wasting your life working on something which is only like a stepping stone. It's if I ask you right now, imagine you were a billionaire, imagine you had tens of billions, more money than you could possibly deal with, you had infinite status, everyone thought you were like a legend. Then what would you do? Because you would still have some kind of work in your day, you know for a fact you would. You would have something that would still feel like some kind of productive work, some mission that you'd be working on. That is probably what you should be doing right now, or at least building up the prerequisites for that. So if you answered like, oh, you know, if I had all the money in the world, I'd be a vet and I'd look after animals, then either you should do that right now, or you should build yourself up to be able to do that because you need the degree or something, fine. But many men, if they're honest, when they answer that question, it's something they could be doing right now, but they're just afraid to stop doing the thing that they're currently working on. For many of the students watching this, they're too afraid to look their parents in the eyes and have an uncomfortable conversation for an hour when they tell them that they don't want to continue being in university anymore. Many guys, think about how fucked this is. Many guys, look at the view count of this video. There's probably 10,000 guys like me and you around our age group who are inside of university right now, not even that far from killing themselves. And the reason why they won't change their lives is because they fear having a 1-hour conversation with their parents, which will be a little bit uncomfortable. So they think to themselves, you know what? I'll be a good boy for 3 years and then I'll live my life after that. Because I'm too much of a pussy, a coward, to look my father in the eyes and say that I don't want to follow his footsteps anymore, to say that I don't want to listen to his advice anymore, to say that I trust my own instincts, my own knowledge, instead of theirs. And so I'll waste 3 years of my life just to avoid this 1-hour conversation. We have a younger audience here, but the amount of middle-aged guys who are living sad and depressed lives because of this exact same mindset, hating the career that they're in and not making any moves to change. And then this is where everyone starts getting these limiting beliefs like, oh, but what about his children? He's looking after his children, bro. Children are much better off with a purposeful, happy father than they are with a father who makes more money but who's fucking miserable. Trust me when I say that. That is 100% the truth. These days, people don't say that to you. Influencers who are selling you programs on how to make money don't say that to you, and they'll just tell you, yeah, it's a man's duty to provide. Sure, it's a man's duty to provide, sure. If you become depressive and abusive and hateful and sad because of that, you're not helping anyone. There's so many middle-aged men who have fallen for the lie that masculinity equals working a shit job that they hate, living life like a mule, like a donkey, just because they're paying their bills at home. That sounds still like so many guys, even off this audience, will think, wait, Hamza is wrong in this, like paying for the bills is a really important thing. If it is taking away from the man's purpose, and now he is like a shell of a man, and now he's got bad mental health, and he's obviously going to bring that into the home, the children are no better off. Children, and also your future feminine woman, will genuinely prefer you to be broke and to feel the pain of hunger, but you be a fully loving and present and ambitious man who's working on the thing that really means something to him, than you being the father who's never there at home, and the father who feels overworked, and the father who's sleep deprived. Many people won't agree with me, especially even the people inside of our sort of niche, our community of masculine guys. But I am adamant that that is the truth, and anyone who's lived in that kind of household where your father really worked hard to provide, but then ended up sacrificing his own goals, his own health, knows with first-hand experience that the other way would have probably been better. What we must do is to figure out the kind of path, the career, the mission that we want to work on right now, and work on that now. This is why I think that question of asking yourself, what would I do if I was a billionaire, is so valuable, because that will tell you like what your calling actually is. And then you will work 3 times as hard to make that into a success because you genuinely enjoy it and it means a lot to you. And that's where you actually get the success and you make the money in life. All these like money gurus who are telling you to not listen to your passion, the truth is like, they're saying that whilst they found their passion of business, and that's why they work so hard. For what I've seen is like, basically everyone who's successful actually likes what they do and thinks it's like relatively important. But the same people will give you advice to you and say like, no, don't think about your passion, focus on just profit instead. Yeah, if everything was in a vacuum and you could work as hard on both of them, sure. But you undeniably will work harder on the thing that you want to stay in the trenches for. I don't need to work as hard anymore. I already have 2 million subscribers. I already make like a lot of money. I don't need to work as hard. I could miss a couple of uploads. But I don't, because this work feels important. If I suddenly had $1 billion, I would be here recording this video for you right now because it feels important to me and it feels important to you. If this message relates to you, then I want to welcome you into my tribe, the Adonis Gang. We are a community of young men who are on self-improvements, and we want to better ourselves so that we can achieve that dream lifestyle. The one where we have that beautiful home in the countryside next to other families, and we have a beautiful feminine woman with us by our side. We've got supremely healthy children. We're working on something that we find really purposeful, and we feel free as men. And best of all, we have our brothers alongside us who are also on the same journey. That's what we're hoping to achieve here on this channel and also inside of my programs. If you are finding that life has been a bit tricky and more lonely since you've gotten onto self-improvement, I urge you to join Adonis Gang, which is linked below. It's only a few bucks a month, and it's where guys like you are coming in to actually meet other men like themselves. We've got meetups happening in basically every country where guys are meeting up, hitting workouts, and basically forming true friendships with other men who share the same values, finally. I think it's a very valuable community to get into. Not only that, we're sharing our lessons, giving advice to each other, and just having like a good time in there as well. And if you are interested, then Adonis School is kind of like the bigger version of that. That's where I also put in a lot of my, basically every course I've made. I put in education. I do a weekly call. I get my sort of rich friends to do weekly calls. We teach you how to make money online and everything else. That's Adonis School. That's kind of like for older guys, and Adonis Gang is maybe for like younger guys. Click and watch this video right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.